more of a deserving winner other than yourself, Shah Rukh. So once again, a huge round of applause for Shah Rukh Khan. Now, Shah Rukh, you have transcended from just being a Bollywood actor to becoming an international icon. Now, when doing the series Fauji, did you ever imagine, did the thought ever cross your mind that you would receive
life that I have got, professionally and personally, is something you can't even dream of. So when I was doing 4G, I had no idea, no inkling. I think I was 19 or 20 then, perhaps, 21 maybe. Yeah, I just got into college, second year college. I was doing my economics. And I just didn't know what to do with my life. And I went on to practice a bit of theatre. And you know, one thing led to the other, and television was a big boom in India. Suddenly it came in, and television series, Hum Log.
Yes.
You saying yes, you were too young for that. You know, just being nice. Yes. You were not born then. And it was a very exciting time for wannabe actors.
Yes.
Wanted to try doing something. I say wannabe actors, actually wannabe actors. I didn't even know if I could act. I got these little opportunities, one thing led to the other. So no way did I know that when I donned the army uniform for acting in the series 40, that I would be sitting here in London and talking with you.
Oh, yeah.
Who's feigning knowledge of Hamdo. But yeah, it's just I never thought of it.
Well, you know what? Your dialogue that you said in Om Shanti Home, as actually your career, your life has become a testament to that Kitni Shiddat se, that whole entire dialogue. It's almost like dreams do come true. And as Anupam Kher sir often says in his chat show, kuch bhi ho sakta hai. And you are a pure example of that anything is possible. That, you know, no matter how much you dream, you will become successful. And you are a testament to that, Shah Rukh.
Actually, the strange bedfellow, or the most amazing thing about success is the things that are very innocuous and you don't need them, they also become goals of yours if you become successful. If my films hadn't done well, the same dialogue would sound so silly. कितनी शिद्दत से मैंने तुम्हें पाने की कोशिश की है कि हर ज़रे ने मुझे तुमसे मिलाने की साजिश की है.
That was the good part. I wanted to say the dialogue. You stole my...
If I was on top of 20 flops and hadn't done well, it sounded really stupid. What is he trying to say? We don't understand. So, like I said, there have been a lot of good things that have happened.
Yeah.
And, one of them is that people do believe a lot of the dialogues I say in films, and I hope. I've never understood the power of Indian cinema wholly, completely. Actually, it is difficult for everyone to analyze because such a diverse nation, so many people coming together to be entertained under one roof, hoping to watch that one film which kind of appeals to everyone, to the grandmother, to the grandchild, to the granddaughter, to the wife, to the husband, to the young boy, and so it's very diverse. And the power of Indian cinema is actually the power of Indian cinema cannot be harnessed by a mere movie star like me. It is the power of Indian cinema which makes movie stars like us.
Oh, it's amazing. Now today we are celebrating Game Changers of India. So what does the term game changing mean to you, Shah Rukh?
I think I know there are a lot of wonderful people here, marvelous people who've achieved so much in life. around the globe and continue to do so. I recognize some of them, and I know all people here are great achievers and have been game changers. I think the one ability most of them perhaps will agree to is that the ability to keep on making mistakes or wanting to take a chance with making mistakes. And whenever you get the opportunity, through your hard work, through your perseverance, through your knowledge, through the business practices or the capacity that you have to lead people, and when good things happen, then I think the final thing would always be that you set out to make a mistake. You were not scared to make a mistake. You were not set out to fail. And I would take this opportunity to thank a lot of people, which means my directors, the producers, actors, actresses, the audience especially, for allowing me to continue unencumbered with any idea that I had, not only of changing Indian cinema or trying to do a role which has never been done, but my own set piece ideas. They gave me the ability to just go ahead and give it a shot, try and go wrong if I may. And more often than not, they didn't allow me to go wrong. As a matter of fact, I tell everybody, like I said, I take this opportunity to thank a lot of people around me who don't get named, because a movie star is a poster boy, so everything gets attributed to him or her. And more often than not, we never see the men and women behind the scenes making this movie star happen or do the stuff that he does. And I would like to thank people. I first apologize if I say something wrong in terms of business. I think business has become about millions and profits and about projections and about targets. And I fully respect the managerial capacity of business. But I personally feel it's a word that I call that the people who work with me allowed me an imaginarial capacity. They allowed me to imagine and they managed that imagination. So all this, I think, when you become a game changer, you can't take it upon yourself. I think there are loads of people, and especially the audience around the world, who accepts you doing the stuff that you do and take it upon themselves to think it's entertaining.
And I like to call you the true Bazigari Badshah because of how you've been so amazing with all the work you've done, and I've grown up watching your work, and for me it makes me so proud to kind of see the work that you've done. So thank you so much for giving us the amazing Hindi cinema that we know today. So thank you so much for that, Shah Rukh. Now, of course, entertainment is a high-risk business, as we just touched upon. So what factors do you, as an entrepreneur of cinema, do you take into consideration when deciding to choose a specific product and a specific project as well?
I think anything that is creative or semi-creative, like Indian cinema is, you have to. A lot of my friends, big filmmakers like Aditya Chopra, Sanjay Leela Bhansali, Karan Johar, all who have contributed to my success. They always keep on harping on about one thing, and rightly so. That is an industry first, and then the imagination has to run wild. So I think the two things that you consider is, can you be new without, I always tell people, I would like to make cinema and tell stories which will change your perspective but not shake the ground that you sit on, because Indian films are very deep into culture, and sometimes we can't completely shake up the ground that you're sitting on. So the whole concept, when you're thinking of a movie or when you're trying to make a product which is for a big market, a billion people, out of which about 15 crores to 14 crore people watch it, if your film is a big hit like if you have that kind of audience, you need to somehow strike a balance between creativity and kind of giving a sensibility which is acceptable. Like I said, it's still a community viewing in India to a large extent. Of course, there is individual viewing now, just changing with multiplexes and all the digital platforms, but it still is. Cinema watching is still a community viewing. You do watch it with your families and go outside together on a weekend. So you need to keep a balance between full-fledged, high-flying creativity and retaining a certain amount of the ground that people are used to seeing drama and theatre in our country. So it has to be a balance struck between creativity and somehow it's a difficult balance. The last 4 films I failed miserably trying to do it. But you keep trying and striving and hope it's new, and hopefully it will get the business too.
As I say, कोशिश करने वालों की हार कभी नहीं होती है, so it's always good to keep trying.
अभी जैसे मैंने बोला पिछली 1-2 फिल्में अच्छी नहीं है तो मैं थक जाऊँ, तो डर भी रहा हूँ.
Right, I mean, obviously we're talking about cinema, we're talking about entertainment. Now, I remember at the ET Global Business Summit in February, you talked about and you predicted that digital cinema will be more interactive in a sense that it will not just become an experience, but the viewer themselves will, the cinema, the film, and whatever's being shown will actually become the experience in a sense that it will be more interactive. So, what plans have you made to kind of join sort of like, I know there's a lot of films or red chili movies that's on Netflix, but I also heard there was supposed to be a web series as well that you were going to do for Netflix. I mean, what's the plans on that?
The digital platform, I personally believe, is more interactive. Not only that it will be touch and feel as so soon. I think that may also happen. There will be different storylines that you can follow watching, choosing upon the path you want to take in a story maybe. So you could be watching Sholay and you would like to watch it from Gabbar Singh's point of view maybe. And it may become that interactive. Not very soon, but in the next 5-6 years, because you take a lot of storytelling and of course technology to make that happen. But that will happen. But I think interactive in terms of digital platform gives us the freedom to actually have a higher lifestyle, to be honest. Because I've always believed that making money, when we were growing up, buying a big car was a big thing, having a small house for yourself was a big thing. These were the necessities, they still are. But these were the goals we had. I think as we are moving forward, the goal is going to be being able to do what you wish to, as and when and where. That I think is going to be a better lifestyle. Lifestyle is not going to be able to, because now you don't need to buy a car, you have Uber and you have, most of the kids do that. So it's not going to be choosing upon things, things which were conventionally what made you feel life is good. I think the new concept of a better life is to do what you want, when you and wherever you wish to. And entertainment is going to take the first step towards that by going digital. And somewhere down the line, when you have it digitally available on your telephone or your laptop or your iPad or wherever you're moving, I think somewhere down the line, the whole idea, there's this old world, our distributors in films talk about this. Logo ko wo do jo wo dekhna chahte. And then all of us come through with our intellect and thoughts and processes and say, no, hum kuch naya banayenge. So there has always been this little fight. But I think at the end of it all, audience is going to lead in terms of taste, what they wish to, and within that taste you have to bring in the newness. So with the digital platforms, I think you're going to get feedback very fast.
Yes.
The feedback will be that you won't click on it. We don't understand this in cinema. You go there, tickets are sold, everybody gives you an opportunity on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The weekend is still considered the place that you go for a new movie. So there is a lot of leeway that is given to filmmakers like us on a weekend. That is, we give it a chance. But when it's on the digital platform, I think giving chances will become less. And when they give you less chance, they are making their choice clearer to you. So I think there will be a lot of media that will be created, which will be according to the choice of the viewer, and it will obviously change and range because of the ages that are on digital media. At this point in time, I'm made to understand, I may be wrong, that people like, say, my wife's mother or her grandmother, they really don't use the digital medium so much. Maybe apart from a few little things. But they're getting open to it. The younger people are going to be, I think, cold-hearted. I think audience is going to be cold-hearted. And when you're cold-hearted, the choice is clear. And a lot of the content is going to become interactive in those terms that, this is not what the youngsters want. We really need to quickly make media which is liked by certain ages and different stages of life. That's the first interaction that we have.
Well, it seems like a very fascinating future lying ahead for the new digital cinema. Now, also, what I also liked about the summit in February, that what you said was also that it won't just be a few superstars, there'll be more superstars developing as a result of this. As a result, there probably are already so many superstars developing digital superstars, like there's YouTube stars, there's Instagram stars, and I'd just like to add two and two together, because obviously at the moment in Bollywood there is a trend of moderately budgeted Bollywood films being profitable at the box office. be it like Queen, indie medium of recent as well. So how do you feel that this trend will reduce the impact of star power?
Again, there are two parts to this, Anuj. I think moderately budgeted films, or films which we sometimes call middle of the road cinema, which is not completely sold out to commerce like the superhero films, or which is completely offbeat, just goes to art festivals. Not to look upon either. I think both are wonderful expressions of cinema. But somewhere in the middle, what we call the middle of the road cinema, has always been there. You have, Rishikesh Mukherjee.
Yes.
I'm going to take names that you won't know about, and you'll have to.
No. I love Rishikesh Mukherjee's film, especially Millie. It's one of my favorites.
Okay, so you have Sai Paranjit, and lots of filmmakers.
Yeah.
This is when I was young, and now also you have filmmakers like that. You'll have Anurag Kashyap, you'll have Anurag Basu,
Dibakar Banerjee.
Wow, you got this one. I'm push
I know. I know one correct thing. I'm so happy now.
So there are going to be middle of the road cinema has this amazing appeal. You can say what you want. It's not off the hook completely. And because of its low budget, it's something that every producer. We have some wonderful media people here, personnel here, and I've noticed, whenever it gives a choice to a producer or a filmmaker, that instead of going the whole hog, which you can't afford to all the time, because it is star-driven. Unfortunately or fortunately, I think the existence of any creative medium is dependent on a star. It's unfortunate to some, maybe it's fortunate to people like me. So if anything that is a mode of entertainment, if it's a sporting club that you love, apart from the history and the fact that you belong to that area, it does come down to who are the stars in that sporting club.
Yeah, that's true.
Similarly in a movie, similarly in theatre, similarly in music. It is media, entertainment media will always be star-driven. But you can't always afford to have a star in your film, to have a big budget film. So I think medium budget cinema is the call of the day. It's got a good storyline, it's more creative. And as a business, I think that's something that really needs to be this title. It should be the bread and butter of any production house.
Definitely.
I think that's the way to go down. I think big production houses like YRF have Y Films. They do the medium budget cinema. All of them. I think UTV, when they were running films, they had Spot Boy. And everybody has an arm. And I'm sure, I don't know, so do we at Red Chili's. That we should have these medium budget cinemas, which are actually going to be the sustainers of any film production house.
Fantastic, and I think it's rising as well. I think as you said, the middle cinema, I think it's rising as well. It's coming a lot more to prominence. Like before, I think a film like perhaps, let's say, Hindi medium, or maybe a perhaps moderately budgeted film wouldn't perhaps be looked upon as much, but now it's like celebrated and loved a lot more. People are giving a lot more prominence to it as well.
At a personal level, yes, audience love will be there, but I think the other thing that is going to happen with digital platforms is that we may lose out medium budget cinema, because there might be a logic and business in releasing a small to medium budget cinema on the digital platform directly, instead of bringing it to a theatre, because theatre is expensive, the popcorn is expensive, the samosas are expensive, the parking ticket is expensive, and if it's a trashy film, then you feel even worse that you have taken your whole family out, you've booked a weekend, you've told the husband come back home on time, and then you go there and it's trash, and you spend so much money. So sometimes you don't want to take a chance like that, and if it happens too often with big budgeted films, I think, and I noticed this already. So it's actually not a scary thing. I think it should encourage filmmakers to realize that because the whole idea of a consumer product like entertainment is that we are dependent upon the consumer to like it or dislike. Even if you're a big star, as a producer, director, or an actor, you can't dole out trash. It will be finally rejected. The leeway that you get on weekend is not going to always stay there. Digital medium is here to stay and be utilized, and people will shift to a medium and take away your audience from the theatre. So, a lot of people lament, people are not coming to theatres. There will be a lot of theatre owners from India who might come and say, the ticket pricing has to be done. We need to be given even more subsidies, and we need to let the theatres, survive. But I think theatre will survive if the content is good.
Absolutely.
So, medium budget cinema, if it starts falling, not into the hands of little players, but if we are not careful as big filmmakers and production houses, we will lose out a big chunk of our audience, and we have to find a new way of entertaining people. people in cinema theatres than we already have.
Absolutely. Well, as I say, content is king, so we look forward to seeing what the future actually holds. I mean, talking of future, according to media reports, Bollywood revenues by 2021 is estimated to be almost worth $3 billion. So, what is your take on this trend, and do you feel Bollywood is ready to deal with such growth in revenue?
It's $3 billion by 2020.
$3 billion by 2020.
With 2020, so to stick around in 2021. Couple of years more to go, yeah. I think I'll survive it. There is a big discussion about how the television industry in India grew many folds very fast compared to Indian films, not just Bollywood. I think Indian films growth rate has been much slower compared to television. And that also is the other issue that we have in entertainment, is that there is a certain amount of ratio that needs to be maintained in number of theatres per audience area. And I think that ratio is still very small in India. I think the ratio is lopsided. We have very few theatres compared to the kind of audience we can garner. So it's unfortunate. Like I mentioned, one of the biggest hits, Bahubali and Dangal, ever in the history of Indian cinema, was able to get eyeballs about 11 to 15 crores in a country which has 130 crore people. And who are cinema lovers. You're cinema, we all say Indian Bollywood. Everyone loves Bollywood. Our cinema is so big. But only 15 crore people have watched the greatest film made in this country in the past few years. Out of at least 100 crore that should at least give it a CEO.
It certainly seems that India and Bollywood, especially cinema, has an amazing future lying ahead. Thank you so much, Shah Rukh. But before we wrap up the interview, could you kindly recite the Jab Tak Hai Jaan poetry for us? Please. I mean, I know I'm not Katrina Kaif, but just pretend I'm.
I'm an actor. I can lie to Katrina. I can lie to you. First of all, thank you very much for having the patience to listen to me. I know all of you are busy people. I want to thank everyone once again. When I come to intellectual gatherings like this, where such wonderful, such fantastic, and congratulations to you all for being here and contributing not only India but to the globe with all your inputs and intelligence. I normally prepare an intelligent speech and come because I don't know what intelligent stuff to say. Like I said, a lot of things that happened to me by chance. But at the end of it all, I remember I was at Yale once. I was invited. And I was told very clearly that my speech should be normal, I should be dressed properly, my humor should be in control, because these are strict. All this is very good. Thank you, Mr. Khan. But can we do chaya chaya? So I realized at the end of it all, an actor is an actor.
Yeah.
In India, we call them bhan. Bhan means, yes, you entertain people through your antics, through your words, through your poems, through your poetry, through your song and dance.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the most intellectual of meetings, the moderator normally does tell me, यार कुछ गाना वाना गा दो, छनिया छनिया गा दो, या अपना डायलॉग बोल दो, ये जो तुमने सब बाकी बोला है, इसका कोई मीनिंग नहीं है. So thank you very much, Anuj, for allowing me this opportunity that I go away from this wonderful convention feeling useful, not by the words I've said about Indian cinema, but by